So without further ado, Jenny Theolin.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Creative Morning. I'm just getting some help here to lift this fantastic piece of work that we've all put together. So I worked out that 20 years ago, I got my first computer. And it still had Windows 95, bearing in mind it was 1998. But like any other new relationship, this computer really consumed me. And it happened really fast. What happened next as well. Guys, if you faint or need to sit down, it's fine. We can just throw it down, it's fine. We need more tape in the middle. It is what it is, guys. Let's do like that. Better? So everything happened really fast. And from spending a few years at the Boğaziçi University in Istanbul, I got the chance to learn the skills of the pencil by a relatively famous caricaturist called Galip Tekin. And Galip was very interesting because he didn't speak a word of English, and my Turkish was pretty much non-existent. So we communicated very much through the pencil. And through this time at Boğaziçi, I also got the chance to work with applied arts, so with woodwork and metalwork, and dabbled in a bit of painting as well. But somehow, I still ended up being that stereotypical, moany graphic designer with a sprinkle of arrogance who would moan about the local laundrette using Comic Sans, who would be distraught on the way to work if she saw some leading or kerning in the wrong place. And this designer, I don't really know where she came from. This person just kind of manifested itself. And if I would rewind even further to the 1800s, when I wasn't alive, obviously, I'm kind of imagining the day when William Morris, who I hope most of you have heard of, sat in his world and decided, you know what, I don't really like how this world looks like. I'm going to reimagine and redesign my world. And he co-designed a building called the Red House, which basically he did with an architect called Webb. And them together decided to craft their world together. And this is extremely inspiring to me that, instead of, like myself, spending, an average of 50,000 hours by the computer in some dark dungeon in a design studio, William Morris started a movement. He started the arts and crafts movement, or at least the first one, I think. When I developed work-related upper limb disorder, and that's a thing, also known as repetitive strain injury, I did that through these 50,000 hours of work, and basically my body completely shut down. I couldn't chop vegetables, I wouldn't have been able to use this clicker without being in some sort of awkward pain. But during this time, I really started to look at design differently. So I do see myself as a designer, but a very different designer to the person who complained about Comic Sans. Instead, I created a big exhibition about the typeface, which we can talk about later on at some point. But the moral of the story is that I started looking at design completely differently, and I started getting out more. I started talking to other designers, asking them, have you had ergonomic problems? And I found out one of my designers who I work with very often now, he hangs upside down 10 minutes every day, like Batman, because of back problems. I started campaigning for what I call the repetitive brain industry. And my thinking was that we as designers are a problem-solving industry, and this is probably one of the biggest problems that we face, that our bodies are getting shut down due to technology. So it did happen very fast, and during that time I was interviewing and talking a lot to an inclusive design expert called Julia Kasim, who is now based in Kyoto. And she was really worried that we're seeing the first generations of designers and creatives who cannot draw. And this is a skill that is extremely useful. So we have to a great degree, de-skilled ourselves through technology. So in a way now, when service design and UX and human-centered approaches and design thinking is around, I'm really happy about this because we're going outside. We're doing stuff, we're empathizing, we're making things together with people. And it's the making that's really exciting to me. And thinking about William Morris and also thinking about Henri Matisse, he decided later on in his career, when he was in a wheelchair, that, you know what, I'm going to do massive collages. And I don't know if anyone got to see this the exhibition at the Modern Museum in Stockholm. But there's a little film with him there, and he's sitting with a pointing stick. Because, he can't go up and stick stuff up, but he's got assistants. But just by doing that, you have a different mindset to design, at least visual design. So why have we made this collage together, you may wonder. When I was asked to come and talk about craft, I basically thought that, you know what, craft to me is design by making. And the word making as a word is so nice. It feels like it already stands for a relationship. Making food, making music, making phone calls, making collages. And that in itself is just a nice feeling to have. So basically what you have done for me today and with me is design my slides. And I think by involving other people in what you create such a different type of environment and feeling. And what I like about this are the beautiful flaws. Here, by the way, is an example of one of Matisse's biggest pieces. That's actually the size of this wall, like if this was a wall. It's absolutely huge. But the point being that Ollie Frape, who's a hand letterer in the UK, he does everything by hand. I mean, he's a hand letterer, clues in the name. But what I like about this, we don't strive for that same perfection when we work in this way. But coming back to technology and my relationship with technology, which I started talking to you about, the computer that I got, it becomes obsessive. It becomes obsessive. I still get those feelings. It's like any new relationship where you throw yourself in and you disregard health and you disregard friends and you disregard everything else and you just throw yourself into this absolute obsession that cannot be healthy. And for me, it wasn't healthy. I broke down in various forms. And this relationship is really complicated when you think about it. But then again, it's not that complicated because technology to me is an extension of me. Technology, whether it's a hammer or a piece of AI, is just something that we have produced to make our lives easier, quicker, more functional, none too perfect. Have you got some tape? Thank you. Got it? Hello? So what I'm trying to say, this is my next slide. No, but the relationship that we have with technology doesn't have to be that difficult. Being used in the right way and making things using the tools that are relevant to you, you can craft almost anything. So what I implore you guys to do and keep doing is to try and get out more, try play more, try have more fun. I mean, I don't see my job as work or as a job, because I really try and look for creative people who can help me do this, and this as a metaphor of being my world of design. So I promise that if you take your mindset from me, computer, me, technology, client, agency, friends, contacts, merge them a little bit. Matt Ridley, if you know who Matt Ridley is, he's got an amazing TED Talk where the conclusion is innovation happens when ideas have sex. And I think that's a fantastic way to describe this sort of lovemaking that we have with ideas and creativity. So I promise by doing this, we will be making some epic shit together, and we will be able to, just like William Morris did, design a world that we not only find beautiful, but functional and really a place to share with each other. Thank you very much.